Hey, welcome to our kitchen. Today we have a bunch of really lovely recipes to share with you. We've got 8 recipes in total, and they're all quite small, quite easy recipes that are meal prep elements to help your week go smoothly.
So this video is all about meal prepping, and it's not something that we do every week, but I think without realizing it, we are actually making lots of components and having them in the fridge throughout the week. So we thought it would be good for us to get a bit more organized and actually maybe make these all in one batch, and then we've got them ready to go. These are things that we make all the time, and you'll probably recognize some of these from our recipes that we've shared with you. So yeah, we thought it would be really good for our own sake just to get a bit more on top of things.
In that mind, having things like chopped veggies in the fridge ready to dip in hummus, or a nice little nutty sprinkle to go on top of a soup like we've shown you before, really just helps make things so much smoother and easier when it comes to making those healthy decisions. If you've seen the video before this one, you will know that we have been to the greengrocers and we bought a bunch of really nice fresh produce that we're going to be just working through today and getting ready for the week ahead.
People love meal prep, so we thought why not kind of share it with you guys as well. There's going to be 8 recipes, but then also some tips. Some hacks, some like little, I don't know, tips and hacks.
Cool, so should we just get started with cooking?
Yes.
Wicked.
More prepping.
Prepping, not cooking, prepping.
The first thing we're going to get prepping is probably the most like recipe cooking-y element out of all the things that we're going to be sharing with you, and that is a cabbage and fennel slaw. So this kind of thing is great for salads, for lunches throughout the week, or as side dishes to have with your dinner. We are using a herby cabbage or a sweetheart cabbage, but any white cabbage would be great for this. So we're going to start by peeling it, washing it, and then finely slicing it. Save on a little bit of washing up, we're going to be making our slaw straight into the thing that we're going to be storing it in. So we've got this big glass container here. This is probably the biggest Tupperware we own. Yeah, we're going to be adding in our cabbage to this, then going in with the fennel, and then we'll probably make the dressing separately, drizzle it over, and then you can just shake it all about. So good little tip there for saving on time and washing up. I've got our fennel here, and I'm going to remove the little fronds and we're going to add them in to our salad. You could also leave them to one side and kind of use it as a little dressing topping situation if you wanted to. And then we're going to go ahead and cut it up and slice it finely like we did with our cabbage. I just love the smell of fennel. It's so fresh and fragrant and herby, and just love it. Looking at how much fennel we've got, I think we're actually going to have to end up making this in a bowl after all, which is fine. Our Tupperware just isn't big enough, but if you are making a smaller recipe, like a half version, or you just have a bigger Tupperware, then you could definitely do the trick, the all-in-one trick. But unfortunately for us, we're going to have to make it in a bowl. We've got a small bunch of dill that we're going to add in. It's about 20 grams, so we're going to chop that up nice and finely. You could really add any herbs, so if you've got parsley in the fridge, that would be really nice. Whatever kind of herbs that you like, but today we're going with dill because I just think dill and fennel is a great combination. I'm done with all of the chopping, so the next thing to do is make the dressing that's going to go over our slaw. We're keeping it pretty simple. It's going to be olive oil, maple syrup, or any kind of sweetener. Our slaw is ready, so this is just going to go into the container and into the fridge ready for when we need it. We're now going to move on to something a little more simple. This is essentially a 3-ingredient recipe, and this is probably our most meal prepped item out of this list that we're doing today. So one of our favourites, one of our go-tos, and something that I think everyone should have in their fridge at all times. If you hadn't guessed already, we are making some pink pickled onions, and as I said before, this is something that we have on most things. It's great for salads, toast toppings, Mexican food, curries, you name it. A pink pickled onion just makes everything better. As we said before, this is a very simple recipe and you really only need your red onions, a vinegar, water and sugar. However, you can get a little bit creative with it if you want to. You could add extra things in to pickle. So sometimes we add in a little bit of red chili. So we've got like a spicy pink pickled onion, but today we're going to add in some capers and some mustard seeds, just because we think it's going to go nicely with the flavours of the other things that we're meal prepping, but these are optional. You don't need to do them. You can just do the standard pink pickled onions. I know it's not really the gift giving time of year, but these kind of things do make great gifts. So maybe a little Easter gift if you're doing like an Easter hamper or basket for someone, or just a little birthday treat, then pickled things are a great thing that you can make very cheaply and gift to people, especially if they're pickle fans, and I feel like you should be, because you're missing out if you don't like pickles. Our next recipe is another absolute vegan staple and something that we make multiple times a week, so why not prep it at the beginning of the week so we've got it and it's all done in one. So this is part of us trying to get organised, and we're going to be making a cashew cream. We're going to be starting by soaking our cashews. Usually if we're in a bit of a rush and we haven't meal prepped, we will do them on the hob on really high heat, bubbling away, but because we've got a bit of time, we're going to put them in a bowl, cover them with some hot water, leave them to do their thing whilst we get on with something else. While the cashews are soaking, we're going to move on to the next thing, and that's going to be a whipped tofu. This is something that is great for having on toast, having in sandwiches. It's a really good way of adding in extra plant-based protein into your meals instead of just reaching for maybe like a store-bought hummus or like a cream cheese. This is a really good kind of whole food, homemade, high protein spread, and you can get really creative with it as well. You can add in whatever herbs you like, you can add in different spices, kind of whatever twist you want depending on what theme, what cuisine you're kind of going for. So we're going to make a kind of basic version and then show you what we're going to be adding in to make it a little bit more interesting today. Because we want a nice thick spreadable spready dip type thing, we're going to be going for the firm tofu. That's everything you'll need for the basic recipe, and now is the time to add in any extra little flavour boosts that you want. So we're going to be adding in some za'atar, just because we've got quite a few of those Middle Eastern-y flavours going on this week, so it's going to go really nicely with what we've got planned. But you could add in some fresh herbs, some dried herbs, basil, that kind of thing if you're going for more of that Mediterranean feel. You could add in some chopped up sun-dried tomatoes, capers. There are really so many things that you could add here, so yeah, get creative.
Kind of looks like a sourdough starter.
I guess it is fermented. 3 of the 8 meal prep components are finished, and we have started on the cashew cream, but the cashews still need a little bit longer to soften up, so we're going to move on and do a little bit of like, it's meal prep but it's not necessarily little like mini recipes. This is pure chopping essentially, and this is just to speed up the cooking later on in the week. So we've got some garlic, which I'm going to peel essentially and just put in a little tub, so that's ready to go. You could chop it up as well. If you chop it, then you could definitely freeze it and use it later in like that. Then we've got a bunch of snacking veggies, so we're just gonna essentially prep them just so they're ready to grab, and this just helps us not make up any excuses. And if we're in the shops and we see something that we want and we're hungry, we know that we've already got food at home that's prepped and ready to go, with hummus or whatever, maybe even with our whipped tofu. This would be really nice. So we've got carrot, cucumber and some red pepper. And then the third thing that we're going to prep is we're just going to peel and chop up some bananas and freeze them, and these are great for our smoothies. So it's not cooking, it's just a little tiny bit of prep now that's going to help you later on in the week.
Obviously, if you're going to be doing a bunch of meal prep, you'll be needing a bunch of containers, Tupperwares, jars, whatever it is, so that you can keep all your stuff nice and fresh. What we've got here is not a collection of super aesthetic, lovely Tupperwares that all match, and when you open your fridge, it looks like the best thing in the world. We've just got a hodgepodge of different things that we've collected over the years. Some of them are things that we've been given as gifts, like this Kilner overnight oats jar, and some of the stuff we've recycled. I think this used to be a pot of kimchi or sauerkraut or stuff like that, and then we've also got jars from peanut butter and all sorts of things, so you don't have to go out and buy brand new matching Tupperware. You can just collect stuff over time, and that will be perfect and more sustainable for what we're doing today. I would say the only thing that is possibly worth investing in is a couple of really good quality glass containers with these air Loctite lids. A couple of good big ones really go a long way. Maybe we got these from IKEA or somewhere, or Amazon or something, I don't know. I can't remember, we've had them for ages now. A couple of containers like this are great for big salads, leftovers, anything that you really want.
We're going to take a little break from chopping and move on to the next meal prep element, and that is a breakfast recipe, and we're going to be doing some overnight oats. Again, we're going to show you like a basic recipe, which we have shared with you before on our channel, but we're also going to show you a little fun flavour twist combination as well that we're going to do here today. So yeah, this is a nice thing to do after all of that chopping and peeling. For your basic overnight oats, you really just need oats and a liquid, so you could do it with water, but we're going to be using soy milk, and we also like to add in some chia seeds, a little bit of sweetener and a pinch of salt. So that's kind of our basic recipe, but then if we're trying to make things a little bit more interesting, we like to add in extra flavours. So today we're going to go with some chocolate overnight oats. We've got cocoa powder and then also some cardamom pods as well. So you really want to mix your dry ingredients first before adding in the milk, especially when using cocoa powder, because if you add the milk and then the cocoa powder, it's going to be really difficult to combine everything. The next step is optional, so I'm going to add in some sweetener now. I've got some vegan honey, but you could do agave or maple syrup. You could wait to add your sweetener on at the end if you prefer, and sometimes we do that, but I think just for ease I'm going to add it in now. We're sticking with this sweet theme, and we're going to move on to our fruity compote. So this is going to go perfectly on our chocolate cardamom overnight oats, and we're going to be making a plum compote. You can really make any compote that you want. It's the same process. It's your fruit, your water and your sugar on the heat. So recently we made a really lovely rhubarb compote, which is in spring right now, so we'll link that somewhere for you to go and check out. We often do like a mixed berry compote because you can get those bags of frozen mixed berries, so that's great. But we saw these plums in the greengrocers and just thought they looked really nice, and they were only £1 for about like 10 plums.
12, I think.
12 plums? So yeah, really good value. So yeah, we're going to make that, and I just think plum and chocolate as well is a good combo. It's starting to smell amazing. We're just going to let that simmer and soften now on the hob till it goes nice and soft and jammy, and we can kind of mush it with the back of the spoon. Whilst the compote is doing its thing, we're going to turn our attention to something a little bit more savoury, and this is something that we have shot for our meal plan ebook. It's kind of a variation on the crunchy soup topping that's in there. It's not just for soups though, it's for salads, for anything that you just need that little crunchy extra something on the top. So we're going to do a slight variation on that today, but with a few little different bits than we have in the ebook. We're now going to lightly toast this on a low heat for just a couple of minutes, and it's going to be done once the breadcrumbs go nice and golden, and you'll also be able to smell it like the toasted nuts. Will give you that kind of sense that it's done and it's ready. The next recipe is more of a snack than a meal prep component. So this is something when you want a little sweet something, and these have been trending all over my TikTok and Instagram, and it's nothing new. No one is reinventing the wheel here, but it's a good reminder for me of like a really nice, delicious, healthy little sweet something. So we're going to be making some peanut butter stuffed dates, and we're going to coat them in some melted dark chocolate, pop them in the fridge, and that's going to be a really delicious little snack. I'm slicing the tops open a little bit like when you have a baked potato, and then I'm squeezing it and pinching it open, grabbing the stone, and then we've got a nice little date that has got a pocket inside ready to stuff. Our little sweet chocolate covered dates are done. Well, almost done. The next step is to put them into the fridge so that the chocolate solidifies again, and then they'll be ready to store in a container for whenever you want something a little sweet, and I can't wait to have one of these later with a cup of tea. The last thing that we are going to be meal prepping today is the cashew cream that we mentioned earlier. So the cashews have been soaking the last few hours, and they should be nice and soft now and ready to blend up. So before we do anything else, we are going to drain this water from the cashews because we won't be needing that. So this is everything that we have meal prepped today, apart from the bananas which are in the freezer. So there's a lot here, and this is really going to come in handy later on in the week, and I'm feeling pretty proud of ourselves for actually getting organised and doing all of this. It's also making me a lot more excited for the meals that we're going to eat than normal, because I know all these things that we've already made, so that's really nice to have things to look forward to eating, and we're going to be using some of them tonight in our dinner. We are having, what are we having tonight? Oh, I think we're going to have the Mexican black bean bowl. So we'll be using the cashew cream, we'll probably be using the garlic that we peeled and the pink pickled onions, and then tomorrow we've already got breakfast made. So this is the kind of stuff that you'll thank yourself later for. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We've not done a dedicated meal prep video before. We do talk about meal prep in our videos all the time, like we're always suggesting little elements that you can prep, but we've never done this like dedicated kind of video. So it's been a long time coming. It's been something we've been wanting to do for ages. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed it, that you feel inspired, that you have found some things that you want to try making for yourself at home. So let us know in the comments how you guys feel about meal prep. Is it something you do every week? Is it something that you just do every now and then when you can kind of be bothered to do it? Yeah, let us know your kind of go-to meal prep tips and tricks and share them with everyone else, because we'd all love to know all the hacks to make our life easier and make cooking simpler.
If you like things being easy, then you're going to want to check out our e-cookbook that makes your whole week of vegan meals super easy. The whole thing's laid out for you, the shopping list, the meal plan, and all of the recipes are right there in one place, and you can pick that up on our website now. We really hope that you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!